Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 80s Still Scream. We are on episode number 4. Can you believe that? 4 episodes in. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Once again, we have my special guests, Jerry Smith, Matt Garcia. Hey, guys, how's it going?
I am great. How are you doing?
Hello, pretty good.
Hey.
Everything's going good.
So, I'm going to talk about a very, very out there and not so ordinary topic this time around. I thought I would bring this to you guys because not a lot of people know about this. So I'm going to educate some of y'all out there, some of y'all newer guys to all of this. So today we're going to talk about closing logos. A lot of people don't know what those are, mainly because you don't really see them anymore. A closing logo is what you call a vanity logo at the end of a television show, a movie, or something that shows a production logo. And it's got music, it's got a little jingle here and there. And you don't see these around anymore, but in the 70s and 80s, these were very prevalent. These were on every TV show. Every time your favorite show came to a close, you always saw this little 2, 3, 4 second little mini, hey, this is who produced it. Studios like, Paramount, studios like, Filmways, they always had these little, just to let you know, we put this together. So they started out long ago on television when there was no animation, there was no sound, but people just put like a little title card that had, produced by so-and-so Productions, released by so-and-so Productions. And as the 70s and 80s came along, they got more fancy. People started using synthesizers, different sound effects, different types of animation. And what resulted from all of this was a really, really, well, I'll just say it this way. It resulted in these really, really creepy and scary things that a lot of people to this day still hold on to. And I'm going to get to that in a sec. These things scared a whole entire generation. And I have Matt here, and he can attest to this because when he and I first met and we started talking and became friends, it was one of the weird things that I did not know that he knew because I don't usually share this with very many people because it's so obscure. But hey, Matt, tell me what you remember about this kind of thing back then.
Well, first off, you are probably the only person up until recently that even knew what the heck I was talking about, the scary logo, nightmare logos. You were saying earlier about the synthesizers. To me, the synthesizers are what was started. That just made it more possibility to be creepy because just something about the synth noise and usually it echoed or it faded out and it always caught you off guard. You're watching, your favorite show at night. You kind of half awake, half asleep, and the end of Roseanne and some creepy, loud music just pops out of nowhere. With this usually with a logo, whatever it is, a letter, or even the TV station, radio stations. We know a lot of that local TV station ones are pretty creepy.
Yeah, they are. Jerry, did you know about this whole thing that we're talking about here?
Oh, no. I was very familiar with them growing up, but they were actually some of my favorite things after a show. Just to be like, okay, who put this out? What is this whole thing? I was always obsessed with the one where the dude's typing and then he just throws his paper in the air like to hell with this show.
It was funny. Matt was just saying it a while ago that the reason why they scared so many of us as kids is because technically we took them to bed. We'd be sitting in the living room, lying down in the living room, ready for bed as Three's Company came on or whatever. And as the music started, the end music came on, we knew it was time for bed. And in a half kind of daze, this sort of logo would just pop up with their freaky music.
You're like half asleep, and
we're
then you just
half
say,
asleep.
Ubu, sit,
yeah,
in your head, and it's like in your nightmares.
You see, and you guys are a little bit, younger than I am, but I had like weirder ones, like Viacom's The V of Doom, the S from Hell from Screen Gems. These really quick, shrilly sounds that just stayed in your head and stayed with you long after. Mm-hmm. And it was really hard, like for me, and like I said, one of the reasons why I never said anything to anybody was because it was so weird. But these sounds and this music would keep me awake. Like I'd be awake for hours after with this noise in my head playing over and over and over in my head. And the quieter the house got, the less light that was in the house, the louder this music and these images would become. And it was really cool to find somebody, when Matt and I first met, that actually not only knew what the hell I was talking about, but who kind of like understood what. Yeah, because I always thought I was this big weirdo, because like, really, dude, Well, yeah, that's a different story.
I was about to say
Together.
that.
But what I'm saying,
We're
like
all
this,
together.
all it is just a couple of pictures, a couple
Yeah.
of music, maybe 5-6 notes. But some of these were so powerful, and probably the studios that were making these probably didn't even know that. They were just like, oh, just
Some of them. I think
I don't
some of
think
them were just sadistic
Do you think
a-holes.
they had intentions? I don't think.
Well, we'll get into that bit. The cat that dies.
Oh,
I mean, some of them knew exactly what they were doing.
Lindsay,
That's
Yeah.
their childhoods.
the
Well,
last one I heard the
you know,
last-
and now that you said that, I do wonder, like, if some of these guys, you know, as the whole closing logo thing started taking off, I wonder if they did do that on purpose. Like, hey, you know what? Let's put 5 or 6 notes together in the weirdest way possible with the weirdest sound effects, this whooshing sounds or whatever.
Yeah.
And let's see what we can get away with. Let's see if this is going to actually enter anybody's mind and freak them out later on.
Now, maybe at first I don't think they meant to, but Jerry did bring up, and now, well, Jerry kind of brought it up, and Lionel kind of detailed on it. That towards the end, I'm sure they especially knew what they were doing. I don't think everyone early into it really, meant to be that way. I just think, like I said, it was the way you were delivered. Like you were usually like a kid, half awake, half asleep. And earlier, I was thinking of the V of Doom or the S from Hell, or
The Screen Gems, that's from hell.
Yeah.
So, anyways, to me, like those letter ones always remind me, and I know you guys remember these, the skits on Sesame Street where the kids are playing the 1 and the 2 pop up out of the
Yeah, yeah.
ground and the pool and the A's going in the park like stop motion animation.
You
For
just hate
some
the alphabet,
reason,
I think. You have a vendetta against the alphabet. That's what it is.
H for
I do
Hell,
think it's funny
alphabet.
that like you guys had nightmares about like logos, and I just couldn't sleep because my grandma wouldn't stop farting. I mean, you guys had it cool.
That's another show. That's a whole
No, I know
other-
what you mean about Sesame Street. It used to freak me out as a kid too.
So I kind of, there's a lot of, just to go off the subject a little bit, there is a lot of scary stuff on Sesame Street, just the different animations and stuff, and a lot of the logos just remind me of Sesame. I don't know why I connect them. Maybe just from the same part of my brain that keeps those parts of media being creepy.
I'm never gonna be able to watch Sesame Street again now.
Dude,
I was already freaked out with like how just mean spirited like Oscar is.
yeah.
Now
He's
I'm
definitely,
just scared.
Well, they,
very afraid.
you know,
The
and it's-
animation segments, not the
No, I know what
not
you
the
mean. Yeah, for
Muppets.
sure.
okay, now that we're talking about Sesame Street,
Mhm.
and we're talking about logos and stuff, and how sounds and stuff, one of the things that always freaked me out in Sesame Street was the news flashes with Kermit the
Yeah,
Frog.
yeah.
There was something about that title card with the cloud and the lightning bolt
Mhm.
and just the music in the background that I don't know why it always made me cringe. And I would,
Really?
yeah, it
Don't wanna bring
did.
up a disco frog, but
No, that's a different story. But anytime that was one of the things in Sesame Street that I did not like at all.
Okay, but here's the thing, and this kind of I'll keep it brief so we don't go off the topic. But Jim Henson was a fucking sadistic guy. Like if you really think about it, Labyrinth has really dark parts in it, dark waters.
Yes, yes.
I mean, Jim Henson knew how to mess us up.
Well,
That's true.
then let's not get into the Dark Crystal.
And he was probably also.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah, there's probably a lot of weed going on, and that's just being
That's why
generous.
Kermit's-
There's a lot more than weed going on, but yeah,
You know, and
I
as-
know what you mean.
and especially in the evening. The evening was the worst part for these logos because I don't remember ever being freaked out with them during the day. You know, when stuff like, Love American Style would come on.
Your mom cleaning the house and it would,
Small
it
wonder.
wouldn't bother you at all.
Yeah,
When
I
you're
don't-
by yourself and it's late. It's a
Or
different
after,
story.
like, as soon as it got dark, these things came on. I mean, it got to the point where I couldn't watch these things anymore. I mean, as soon as they came on, I would try as inconspicuously as I could to either cover my ears, cover my eyes, or to pretend not to hear them.
Do
As
you have
to
like a holy grail, like one that just scared the absolute
well,
crap out of
it's
you
it's
more than
funny
others?
because later on in this segment we're going to
Okay.
talk about the ones that scared me the most.
Okay, cool.
You know, and my whole thing was I tried not to make any light of it or try to bring any attention to that because I didn't want my dad or my mom asking me, "What the hell's your problem?"
Like,
'Cause
well,
Dad was
this
the type
guy's
of
talking
person
about
that-
Ubu, I'm scared.
Dad was the type of guy that he would find, like, he would pick that out of you
Something you were-
and he would,
Like magnify it.
yeah,
My dad was the
and
same
only
way.
just for his own amusement
Are we
to torture
brothers?
you, yeah.
That's another
that's-
show
Floyd?
also.
No.
But that's the way he was, so I didn't want him to know that. And not only that, I was embarrassed by it because I thought to myself at the time that was the weirdest thing to be freaked out by.
Yeah.
Oh wait, weren't you afraid of the theme song to MASH for the longest
Oh,
time?
I'm still scared of the
Right?
Well-
song to MASH.
I'm
It-
scared
well-
about everything having to do with MASH.
Period.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and it's
His
it's funny
favorite
because
show. Talk about
So
being
funny,
half
'cause I
asleep.
think it's hilarious.
I just
It's-
love
Yeah.
it's funny because
Oh,
he
it's
he's
funny, but
right.
The intro is terrifying.
There was a lot of there was actually I shouldn't say a lot because that's not true. But there was a couple of 80s 70s show intros
Yeah.
that I did not particularly care for. I mean, if I could sit here and think for a while, I could probably name you a couple, but MASH is one of them.
Well, it's dark. That's the thing. It's a comedy show, but it's a very dark show.
Well, especially like later on when I found out what the hell the lyrics were to that song, and it was like, okay, now it makes a little bit of sense, you know. And
I was always just afraid of like Magnum PI's like shirts. It's like, dude, go somewhere else other than Hawaii, brother.
So we're not. I would advise us not to talk about Tom Selleck and his open-faced shirts because that would we don't want that.
We're going to another episode.
But a lot of these mainstream ones, like from these big time companies that were cranking out TV shows back then.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, it seems to me like maybe some of these studios were secretly competing to see who could make the more outlandish closing logo. Because it got to the point where I was secretly afraid to like sit down and watch TV on a Saturday night, especially like in my junior high years, where we had like Alf. We had on Saturday nights it was like 227 Golden Girls, and that's the one thing that I dreaded. Was that, oh my god, at the end of the show I'm going to have to face that closing logo and just deal with it. And especially like on a Saturday night back then in the 80s, it wasn't like now where you watch, oh, I have my Monday night show I can watch. Oh, I have my Wednesday night show. No. On Saturdays, you sat in front of the TV from 7 o'clock in the evening to like 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
Plus, you couldn't DVR, and you could set the VCR, but
Yeah, exactly. So, people like me who have this little phobia of them, you have to face these things every time we wanted to sit down and watch TV.
Could you imagine being in that business meeting though, of people trying to pitch like their after credits thing? Like, okay, so guys, I have this crazy idea. Yeah, James, what is it? We don't want your idea. Okay, just hear me out. My dog's name is Ubu, and at the end of the show, I'm going to say, "Sit, Ubu, sit." And people are like, "Really? That's the best you got?" Okay, I guess.
And if you really think about it, that guy probably got $30,000-$40,000 just for thinking of that pitch.
Right? This dude is doing like cocaine off of like hookers' boobs because of "Sit, Ubu, sit."
Right. And the thing is, now you said that, if you think about a lot of these logos that us kids grew up with, they were made out of something so simple, like telling the dog to sit, pulling a piece of paper out of a typewriter,
throwing it in the air. Yeah.
And they resonated with us.
Yeah.
And now these companies that a lot of them are no longer in existence.
Yeah.
They stopped production, whatever. They went bankrupt. But they have these closing logos as their legacies that people like us, even now, many years ago, we're still talking about. So I want to talk about some of the ones that really like freaked me out and me out.
Yeah.
As kids, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go a little bit further here, and I actually downloaded a lot of the ones that we're going to talk about. I won't be able to show you any visual footage, of course, but I want you guys to actually hear what these things sounded like, and I'm going to do my best here with the equipment that I have to convey this to you guys so you can see what we're talking about.
I feel like this episode is going to be more of like a psychiatrist appointment than like anything.
Well,
like it's going to help you guys deal with your fears.
My one chance on the sofa to get this out.
Yeah, right. All right.
$70 per hour being charged.
Right. And who knows? Maybe this will finally exorcise that demon and leave me alone for once.
Yeah.
So one of the first things that we're going to do was Alpha, and this one was very rare to be on TV, but this was more in one of those like, obscure videos that you would rent at the video store, and it will come out at the beginning.
Yeah.
And a lot of these video cassettes back then that had these obscure companies that put them out, ones that aren't even in business anymore, they were pretty freaky. I mean, they freaked you out before the damn movie or whatever you're going to watch even started. And I want to let you guys listen to this one and see what you think.
All right, let's do it.
Here we go.
Under your skin.
I feel like Charlie Sheen's gonna come out.
Now, those synthesizers...
Like it's under my skin.
Yeah.
It's like the Wraith.
Like nails on a chalkboard.
Right? That's insane.
This one, like I said, this one was kind of rare. It wasn't very prolific as some of the others were.
And what was that from?
The production company is called Alpha. A-L.
What did they put out?
And the funny thing is, I cannot put any fingers on what they released. And who cares? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's just
what,
a dude that calls himself Alpha that put it online, and I put this out in the 80s.
yeah. And the funny thing is
He
that
was born in like
Sounds good.
whatever
92.
was attached to this logo, no one even
Yeah.
cares about. It's the logo that's what's
Yeah,
in
yeah.
everybody's brain.
Uh-huh.
Okay, next one we're gonna do is API.
All right, let's do it.
API was the same thing. These people
I'm
put
excited,
out little
guys.
shows here and there. I think this was more of a distribution company. I think I'm not. Like I said, don't quote me on this one, but this was API.
Sounds like it would be like a Doctor Who episode.
Now this one has the letters API, and there's this like spinning little pinwheel that goes back and forth, and the whooshing sounds and the sweeping sounds along with the synthesizers were pretty. I mean, they were scary, and I like the fact that when the last synth note plays, it kind of like echoes out and just leaves you there hanging.
Usually they do. I mean, a lot of those seem to, like I said, they just echo off into
And
nothing.
some of those scariest ones that I'm going to play for you here have that. They all have the same characteristic.
Mm-hmm.
That once the last note plays, it stays and leaves you hanging.
Yeah, I'm
And
still hanging.
I'm going to say this now before I forget. A lot of these logos that played, one of the things I was afraid of when I was watching them on TV is when they went silent,
Mm-hmm.
my biggest fear was that a voice was going to come out and start talking.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was a broadcaster. I don't care if it was an announcer. The thing I feared was that somebody was going to start talking right after it and make it just hella worse. So the next one we're going to do, it's not from the United States, but the reason I'm including it is because I'm very, very big into British comedy.
Yeah, me too.
Huge.
Faulty
So-
Towers and so on.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Keeping up appearances.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So BBC Video put out all this
Monty.
stuff. Put out all this stuff here in America, and all of their VHS tapes, and even some of their Laserdiscs, have the same closing logo. And it's very simple. It's just a piano and a couple strings. But I'll let you be the judge of what we're talking about. This is BBC.
That sounds
Very
like it would
serial
be,
killer.
right?
to me.
Either serial killer or like the beginning of like Depeche Mode's more like heroin phase. Like Dave Gahan would come out with long hair and be like,
songs
"Whoa."
of Faith and Devotion.
Yeah. I would buy that album.
And it's funny because these are everyone. I think even the TV stations or TV broadcast stations in Britain kind of use a variant of this.
Yeah.
But this one is on like every single BBC video release. Either at the actually, it's sandwiched at the beginning and at the end.
Do you know like
It
the whole
sounds the same,
era?
though?
Like when did it end, or is it still?
This is. I want to say this is still being used because
Whoa.
this was used throughout. I really am not familiar with anything like in the 80s, but during the 90s, this was like
And it was Art Vandelay that did it, right?
Art Vandelay, capital V, yes.
Sorry, I'd throw a Seinfeld
reference in there.
Oh, and I missed
Yeah,
it.
he's an architect.
Import, export.
So the next one we're doing is going to be BP. I'm sorry, yeah, BP Bryanston Pictures. Now this one wasn't actually on television. I think this one was more film, but this one is
Bryanston,
more.
yeah.
This one's more notorious within.
Texas Chainsaw, right? Bryanston, didn't they acquire Texas Chainsaw at some
You
point?
know what? I want to say yes. You're right.
Yeah.
They had one of the more spookier ones.
Uh-huh.
This is one of those logos that was not 2-3 seconds. It was actually drawn out a little bit.
An hour and 45 minutes. Like, okay,
It kinda
let's hear it.
feels
Like
the-
Lord
Yeah.
of the Rings.
The
Yeah.
combination of music they use is like really creepy. I'm gonna play for you
All right,
right
let's
now.
do
It's
it, guys.
Gonna, it's gonna be a little bit longer than the ones we just heard.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
What?
This is longer than Texas Chainsaw the film.
It's like the intro to Mod. Good lord.
Pac-Man just murdered this Pac-Man.
It's very.
And see, this is one of the ones that I'm telling you that they.
I feel like they hired Brian Wilson to do this when he was stuck in his like bedroom for 40 days.
It's like, okay, let's not even do a tune. Let's just put a lot
Random
of
sounds.
Let's put a lot of messed up
Crashing.
synth
Did just put his
stabs
finger on
and-
a keyboard.
Exactly. And because of that, this
Yeah.
one stands out more as one of the weirder ones.
Yeah.
It's just saying, okay, you know what? This is my production company. I'm gonna make it the weirdest one possible
Yeah.
to get my point across, and they did it.
Yeah.
That guy went to school for 4 years for music.
Exactly.
Right.
And this
It
is
took
what.
him 2 years to compose.
He went to school for 4 years for music, and then he dropped one tablet of acid and composed that.
Oh god. So the next one we're doing was
Okay.
on TV a lot during the 50s and 60s and early 70s. Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say was that a lot of these retro TV stations, MeTV, Antenna, what they're doing now is they're keeping these closing logos intact when they broadcast these old episodes. They're not, editing them out and putting their own or saying, "Oh, this is a MeTV production." Blah blah. They're keeping these, and I think it's really cool for the sake of nostalgia.
Yeah.
For us to still remember, because I can pretty much guarantee you that kids like me that grew up with these shows and now see them being rebroadcasted, I can bet you anything that one of the first things they're thinking when the show comes on is, "Oh God, am I going to see the original closing logo? Am I going to see the original V of Doom? Am I going to see the original S from Hell?" And sometimes I find myself staring at these and watching and just like waiting to see if they pop out. And to my own surprise, not only do they keep them, some of them actually have variants that I've never seen before.
That's interesting. What's funny is that, because there's a slight age difference, I mean, you have all these great memories of these great shows with good, outro things. And my greatest memory is, because of my age, is looking forward to the next episode of Night Court and see what happens at the end of that.
Hell yeah.
You have better shows.
Dude,
I have Night Court.
Night Court, come on. That was a quality show. I mean, come on.
Oh, my God.
That's
You
so
guys
great.
more.
So great.
Hey, and it's funny that you bring that you mentioned Night Court because
The greatest show of all time.
horror, we get to make the connection between Texas Chainsaw and John Larroquette.
Yep. I love
That's
John
all I'll say about
Larroquette.
that, I promise.
AJ Bowen, you don't look like John Larroquette. Don't listen to anyone. Don't listen to them.
So one of the logos that I actually saw a couple of weeks ago, I cannot remember what show it was from for the life of me because I would have liked to tie them together, was the closing logo for Bing Crosby's production.
Yeah.
And his was very quick, to the point.
It's like shooby-doo-wah.
Almost, yeah.
That wasn't Bing Crosby. That was more like Sammy Davis Jr.
I was going to say, wrong Rat Pack member.
Right. Sorry, guys.
But when I saw this one, it kind of made me really happy. Like, okay, they're leaving this in so we can get a taste of. Well, I mean, for them, they're probably saying, "Oh, let's keep it in for the sake of we want to keep the broadcast intact, complete the way it was when it first appeared on television." But I think these guys secretly do it to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to give these kids who remember these a chance to relive, whatever it is. Well, guys like me relive their little fears." But this was Bing Crosby's closing logo in the early 70s and mid 70s.
All right. That is so short.
It's short, and it's got
Classic
the
Bing.
letter B, the letter C, and the letter P just fall down like in a tile.
Yeah.
But that was it. And when I saw this, it made me super happy.
Did they play that at the end of Bing Crosby's Christmas special with David Bowie?
You know
Oh
what,
my
that
God,
would've been
probably.
neat. That would have been cool if they had.
Right.
For
I'm gonna look that up now.
I'm gonna have to look that up to see. If they
Yeah.
did that.
You know, I think they should do too, like a MeTV and all those old retro stations. I think, of course, you need a real commercials because that's what pays for your show on TV. But they should put one retro commercial in. You know what I mean?
Like Sewer
There's
Sharks.
so many. Like you can go from
Oh my God!
you go from the 50s all the way up to the 90s.
Yeah,
Sewer
yeah.
Sharks,
You know,
yes.
that would be
Biker
pretty
Mice
fun.
from Mars.
Oh my God.
Captain Bucky O'Hare. And all
Cops.
those. Yes.
Not like the Bad Boys,
Acronym.
but the
acronym.
acronym one,
Which-
the cartoon. Bulletproof.
Patrol System. Something.
Yeah.
I looked it up just the other day.
Yeah, it's great. Good stuff.
So the next one that I can remember that was everywhere, especially the shows that would come out after dark, was the hugely famous and now infamous Universal Television logo.
Yeah.
This one went through 50 or 60 incarnations and different versions, but the ones that was probably about, 82 through 84, for some reason scared the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what it sounded like. I'm pretty sure a lot of you remember this one.
Let's do it. That scared you?
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
That one never really scared
Why
me.
did it scare
but-
you? I'm
Okay,
curious.
I'm gonna tell you why it scared me because
Yeah,
it
go
would come
for
out of left field.
Okay.
Like the ending credits would roll and whatever, and you would see copyright 1983 Lorma or Universal Television, blah,
Yeah.
and then it would abruptly stop, and then this would just come and butt its way in.
See, I just think of the Olympics when I hear that. It just sounds like something like I don't know, someone would run and win an award for. It doesn't
Chariots
scare
of
me. That's
Fire.
yeah.
Mhm.
Evangelist has nothing to do with
Which
this
sounds like
conversation.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah. That's
But that
interesting.
Would, yeah,
Wow.
That one would.
Wow.
But that's the only reason why.
Yeah.
because
it would just happen out of nowhere.
From what I remember, the Universal logo always hijacked whatever closing song.
Well,
it would be.
that still holds true for Universal. They just want to take over everything.
You know, maybe it's what do you call it? Maybe it's just telling us this is how we are.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do it subtly through a closing logo and let you know that whatever happens, whatever you broadcast, we have the final say.
Yeah. Universal has final cut over commercials.
So along with with this one,
Mm-hmm.
Friday nights, of course, everybody that was an '80s child can remember TGIF.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Step
TGIF,
by step.
I'm sorry, TGIF was
What's up,
the
Cody?
shit. Was the shit.
What was I
when-
saying earlier
Yes.
today? I was talking about that show.
Okay, let me just mention.
Don't
this
beat your
really-
wife.
Yes, I said that too. Thank
Okay,
you.
I'm a huge
Jerry's
fan,
awesome.
Huge fan of Step by Step. Huge.
Yeah.
Always have been.
Kickboxer 3.
Day by day.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We and my brother is here to attest to this.
Yeah.
My younger sister
Uh-huh.
was obsessed with Sasha Mitchell.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Who wasn't?
He was
We
cute.
named
Whatever.
the cat Sasha.
Thank
Really?
you. Our very first cat.
He was a kickboxer.
She named
He fought
him-
Low Pal or Kung Pao or whatever his name was.
It was her baby.
Well, yeah.
Don't try to get on top of me with cat or cats. 'cause I-
Cat knowledge.
Okay. Well, she named him Sasha Mitchell, and it wasn't just Sasha. We had to say
Because your cat like beating other cats.
We had to say his whole entire name when we referred to him.
It was
Oh,
brutal.
have you seen Sasha Mitchell? Oh, Sasha Mitchell's so cute.
Oh,
kinda like
Sasha
the
Mitchell
whole-
loves spousal abuse.
It
Yeah, go to prison, you prick.
was the equivalent of an episode of Friends where Ross and Julie get the cat,
Yeah.
and they get the cat toys, and they're gonna go pick them up for Monica, and she's like, "Hey, Monica, I'm here for Fluffy's cat toys," and she's like, "Only if you say his whole name." And he's like, "Okay, can I have
You
Fluffy
really know Friends.
Meowington's toys?" So it's kind of basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But after a lot of these,
Sasha Mitchell the cat. I find that so fascinating.
and what was funny is that she lived a
Did the
long
cat have
time.
spiky
She
hair?
lived she lived like 20 years. She was good. She
She
was.
did.
Yeah,
Had 100 litters of cats.
Oh
she
my
was-
god.
I know we're getting off track here, but she was the block whore.
The
The
village
cat?
bicycle.
It was
and
like-
she would have the cats right in front of you.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
god.
every 6 weeks,
Like
she was pregnant.
exhibitionist.
You're right. I
Your
was
cat
pregnant.
really liked to show off. Your cat was like that couple at like the football stadium that like had sex in the bathroom.
Yeah,
in front of
pretty much.
everybody.
Bleachers and,
You know,
Yeah.
she was known as the Octo Meow because she had.
Yeah.
She was, getting, she was getting pregnant all the time. And
Yeah.
spitting them out left to right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like my first wife. No, I'm just kidding. She only had one kid.
But these
Yeah.
TGIF had all these Jeff Franklin produced shows.
Yeah.
You know, Jeff Franklin or Miller Boyett or all these.
Yeah.
So at the end of all of these, Lorimar
Uh-huh.
produced or was distributing their stuff.
Mhm.
And they had a really, really short one too that I wasn't very fond of. It wasn't that it was scary. It was
Sasha
that,
Mitchell like punching someone.
Probably. He's probably punching out Patrick Duffy
when Martha
for,
take a
Yeah.
punch. Or...
for upstaging him.
And I apologize, listeners. I am not cool with spousal abuse. So Sasha Mitchell, as cool as you were in Step by Step, you could eat a dick.
A bag of dicks. Eat a bag of dicks.
Okay, go ahead.
So they had the early one. Okay, so do you remember that old 70s TV movie? Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
Yeah, I
Oh my
love
God.
that movie. I
We're gonna
love
have
that
to get into that
movie.
one.
That and the Initiation of Sarah are like
Yes.
two of my favorite TV
Well,
movies.
I'm not sure if the second one was, but I do know that Don't Be Afraid of the Dark was produced by Lorimar.
Yeah.
So their logo in the 70s was really, really subtle,
Uh huh.
and this is what it sounded like.
All right.
When doves cry.
That's so soothing. That scared you?
And spooky. No, it's not
Jerry, I
spooky.
love that. I love that.
I was
Because
like,
that
that
would
soothes
just-
my soul.
It would creep in and just
Yeah.
give this really.
You have like one of those episodes of every show. You know, like every show has that episode where it's like they tackle like very serious subjects.
Yes.
You know, and
Those
like
very
different
special
stroke,
episodes.
Belvedere.
different strokes where one of the kids get
Different strokes.
molested, blah blah blah, and you're like really intense and your blood's pumping, then all of a sudden that plays and you're like, okay, I feel better now.
Mhm.
Well, the 80s incarnation of it was a little bit different. This is what
Uh-huh.
it sounded like.
All right, let's do it. That's definitely different.
Yeah.
Oh my
That
god.
one was a little bit unsettling with me. This
Yeah.
was one of the ones that I actually closed my ears to.
Yeah, I don't
or I
like
would
it.
like put one finger in my ear and I would turn around.
A screwdriver in your ear.
Almost.
A Q-tip
Almost.
with Freddy.
Almost.
With orange juice.
Talking to you, Carlos.
That part always gave me the willies.
Oh
Like,
my
I can feel
God,
that down my
Freddy's
spine.
dead. I hate that movie.
Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
terrible.
So
Worst thing that happened to Roseanne ever in her life.
I think everything that happened to Roseanne is the worst thing that happened to Roseanne
I
ever.
thought Tom Arnold was the worst. thing
That's
that
exactly where I was
happened.
going. I love that. Yeah, we'll not talk about Tom Arnold.
Also, I am looking forward to the Roseanne revival. Just putting it out
Oh
there.
hell yeah, yes.
I'm still mad at her
Why?
And Will and Grace. I'm sorry.
for having bought the rights to Absolutely Fabulous in the 90s.
Yeah, but nothing came
and
of
not
it.
doing shit with it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
how many situations where people buy rights that they're like, oh, I want to develop this, and it never happens. I mean, it happens every day.
and I'm still
I
curious
have the
about-
rights to the Booty Call sequel, and I'm not doing shit with it.
Oh my god.
Jamie Foxx, hit me up.
Tommy Davidson, you're not involved.
I mean, now, you know, many years later, I kind of like think to myself that was probably for the best. that
Right.
Nothing happened because
Me with the Booty Call rights or Roseanne?
it's a toss
Pop
up.
Pretty
Okay.
Tank
It's a
Part
toss
2.
up.
Pretty
Because, you know,
Tank.
Roseanne wanted, you know, Barbara Carrera and Carrie Fisher to be in the AbFab remake, the U.S. version, and
I would be down with that.
I'm so curious
Rest in
about
peace,
what
Carrie.
yeah.
Oh my
I'm so
God, I'm
curious
gonna
as
start
to what
crying
that-
now.
What that would have been like.
Okay, Jerry, it's all right.
You know, but
yes,
when
yes.
like the whole reason why I never materialized here in the States is because they, you know, how we here in the U.S. I mean, sorry to say, but we're kind
We
of
suck.
We need a potty humor a lot.
Yeah.
You
We have an
need-
orange
it can't,
for a
it can't be
president?
smart humor usually. I mean, I'm not insulting Americans. I'm just saying usually. You know, it needs to grab our attention quicker. Can't be dry, really. You know, can't be.
Well, like, yeah, you could do the
Subtle
Absolutely
is-
Fabulous remake, but
Well, you know what's crazy is, and I'll try not to get off topic for very long, but I mean, every once in a while, you will have like a BBC or UK to America adaptation that actually works. I mean, I might get crap for saying this.
Most of you guys will be on my team, so what's up?
But I loved The Office, the
Oh,
UK version.
yeah,
Loved it.
yeah.
Loved it. I had the whole box set before there was even an American show. I loved that. But I love the American version light years more. Like, it is so good. The Jim and Pam story.
More even.
Oh my God, that show is amazing.
well, I mean, there have been UK shows that came to American soil and
Yeah.
did fantastic. I mean, you have Sanford and Son,
Yeah.
you have Three's Company.
Alf? I'm just kidding.
I mean,
Can you imagine a British Alf?
Oh my
but you know, the one reason why. The one reason,
I'm from Melmac.
Governor?
Gordon Shumway.
Okay, go.
I'm from Melmac, bugger. The
Yeah.
one reason why that never took off is because, you know, people here were all hoity-toity, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? HBO said, oh yeah, we'll let you do the FF remake, but you can't swear, and you can't smoke, and you can't drink.
Oh, yes.
Then what?
Why not?
How is that
That was-
absolutely
There's
fabulous?
no show.
That's
There's no movie.
98%
There's
of
no.
That's
what
not
the show's all
absolutely
about.
fabulous at all.
Yeah. So when I don't know
Only
if you
to
guys
get
know
Chanel
this,
number
That's like
5.
The Sopranos
Dude.
on regular TV.
Yeah.
It's long.
and when the
Fox version of Sopranos.
when Fox a couple years, I think I want to say it was like 2007, 2008, they had done a pilot for a brand new remake, a brand new American version that was produced by Jennifer Saunders that had Catherine Hahn, who we love her,
Yeah, I love Catherine Hahn.
as Edwina, and
Wow.
Kristen Johnson
Yeah.
as Patsy. So
Interesting.
everybody was so excited for this.
Sally from Third Rock.
And then the pilot screened for executives, and
They hated
they
it.
shut it down quick.
There's so many things in development that didn't happen, like Luther, which is a great BBC show with Idris Elba. So good. They've been trying to develop that into an American version, and it's just not happening. Or Broadchurch, which David Tennant was in the UK version, and then they tried to bring him over for the American version. I think it went for a season, and it was just a disaster. I think a lot. What's cool is a lot of these shows, the UK versions. I mean, they just work, but they have that kind of British writing that's just so great,
Yeah.
and it doesn't translate well to American audiences whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's because it's two different languages.
Yeah, and we're idiots. Let's be honest.
Well, actually, yeah.
They
First
pronounce
of all,
stuff funny. No, they're pronouncing it properly.
Where's
Yeah,
honestly.
the
right?
joke?
You know,
Where's the
debris.
fun
You
Yeah.
know, when they say like
When they show tits in their commercials on network TV.
I mean, come on, you can say, you know, shit on British television in prime
Sure.
time,
Yeah.
Tits
But-
or an ass.
but we get it here,
Yeah.
and what happens? So,
It's
Mm,
awful.
They're picketing.
you know,
Yeah.
and speaking of, you know, going the other direction from, you know, British party humor, you know, a lot of these logos were in cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Saturday morning cartoons surprisingly had their own little, like Hanna-Barbera had one that was pretty, what was it, spooky, but I've talked to people who think this one's spooky. The Hanna-Barbera logo with the spinning shooting star,
Mhm. That one, yeah, never creeped me out, but
and I've spoken to
Kinda
people
like
who said
that one.
that one, you know, was really big for them.
Is that the more you know, or is that a different one?
It was
It's
like
similar.
it was a star, and it swirled around on the
I always
screen
liked
and,
it.
and made like a
It
rainbow.
left a trail, right?
Because the more you know, always wanted, like, it made me as a kid want to know more.
Like they actually
They inspired me to
their-
want
Hey,
to know
I'm
more.
not gonna give you shit because G.I. Joe made me feel the same way.
Right?
Oh my god! How about Captain Planet
Just
at the
knowing
end?
that was
Now,
happening.
Captain Planet, by that point, I was already tired of caring about the environment.
Yeah, dude, my brother.
They
and
did
I-
all their stuff. I was like, I don't care. Burn down the rainforest.
Exactly.
I like the
There's still a
Toxic
lot left.
Avenger personally.
Oh, yeah, Toxic Avengers? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So some of these,
Yeah.
these kind of
I have that
bigger
whole
ones,
series on DVD somewhere. Yeah, I
I
love
think
that.
it was, if I remember correctly, it was like Captain Caveman,
Yeah,
the Flintstone Kids.
I remember that.
These were distributed by Columbia,
Mm-hmm.
and of course everybody knows Columbia has the statue of the woman holding the torch and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
For a while though, in the early '80s, the Columbia logo was like a dome. It was like a dome with like I want to
It's
say
a biodome. I'm just kidding.
spikes from
Oh
like
my
It's all
god.
color short.
the spikes from the statue's torch.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
But they had a really, really, I don't want to know if it was spooky, but it was kind of different, and it was all just computerized synthesizers, and it if I'm not mistaken, it's known in the circle as like the Columbia Soda Pop logo. I want to say it's called that because it sounds like you're pouring a soda. It sounds like you're turning over a can and dumping it into some ice. I'm gonna play it for you right now and see what it
Yeah,
sounds
let's
like.
do it. I don't think of Dr. Pepper at all when I hear
I
this.
don't anything soda about that,
And,
but
see,
yeah.
and I know, and that's what they call the Soda Pop logo. I have no idea.
So we were talking about earlier. While I was talking about Sesame Street, a lot of the creepy stuff that kind of reminded me of the logos would be the PBS had a good few amount that were creepy. Do you want to cue one of those? Cue one of those ones up.
Maybe Bert and Ernie just like banging.
You know they did.
Snuffleupagus in the corner.
I feel like that should have been on Videodrome.
Yeah.
Like David Cronenberg would
I
have
was
come
gonna
up with
talk
that
about
music.
this logo later on because
Yeah.
this is one of my top scary ones.
Yeah.
This one, as a kid, I couldn't stand it. I was completely afraid of this one.
Really?
Yes.
I find that so fascinating.
One, the high frequency
Yeah.
beeps, whatever. But I hated the fact that this one left you hanging.
Yeah.
As soon as the P, the B, and the S came on, and this finished, you could hear it trail off into the background, and the screen stayed where it was at. Again, bringing up what I
Yeah.
was talking about
PBS.
earlier. I was afraid somebody was going to start talking. That would have freaked
Yeah.
me the hell out.
That sounded like it was like speed rapping right there. The P and the B and the S.
P and the
B
B.
to the B to the S, bitch.
Now let's sing like
Like it would be like a Wu-Tang song.
drop.
No, I know what you mean. Like those, like the ones that like end abruptly, it leaves you hanging. Obviously.
Yeah, the ones that end abruptly and the ones that like drag.
Yeah.
Oh, well, not drag. I'm sorry, that's the wrong word. The ones that end abruptly and just leave a trail.
Yeah.
Because you're sitting there wondering, okay, is it over?
It's like a
Is it
sonic
over?
nightmare.
Is it over?
Yeah.
Is it over? And please don't say anything. Please just
That's
let
what
it
happens.
end.
That's what happens every time I hear 30 Seconds to Mars. Is it over? Is it over? Is it over?
Or Adele.
Yeah. Jared
Oh
Leto.
my god,
Just
I forgot I was
punch
gonna say
yourself
that.
in the fucking
Oh my
gooch.
god. So another one that is not so much scary, but I'm gonna get to
Okay,
why it's on this list
let's do it.
was the Mary Tyler Moore logo.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this one. It's the one where you see the big MTM. This little cat comes out and it meows.
This makes me so sad.
Yeah, and I've heard people say that one was very unsettling to them too because of the way the cat looks at the camera and just meows. And for a lot of people that don't know, the cat has a name. That was actually Mary Tyler Moore's cat in real life. Her name was Mimsy.
Mm-hmm.
And
The last Mimsy.
well, okay, I'm just about to get to that.
Family
Now that
Guy.
you brought that up, that's a good. That's
Marley Matlin.
well. When Saint Elsewhere ended its run and we got to its finale, something happened that freaked a lot of us out. And
Poor cat.
I've actually had conversations with people that remember this.
Yeah.
So when the final episode of Saint Elsewhere came around, when the closing credits ran, it was a little bit different. Okay?
Yeah.
So instead of seeing, poor Mimsy happy, because a lot of people don't know this too, MTM had a lot of variants. MTM is probably one of the logos that had the most variants ever.
Yeah.
If there was a Christmas episode, Mimsy either was in a Santa Claus hat, there was a wreath around her. There were whatever.
There was an
season
S&M episode. Mimsy had like bondage on
Okay,
and leather.
exactly.
She was doing it her way.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's great.
So, there was so many variants. Some
Yeah.
of them where she spoke, where she cried, whatever. Well, all of a sudden, on the screen while this show is giving its end credits, you see Mimsy in her little spot
On life support.
plopped over. And you see this machine drawn next to her. It's a freaking life support machine.
Yeah.
And I actually have it here.
Oh my God.
What it sounds like.
This is the sound of a cat on life support, guys.
Actually, yeah, it is. So what we're looking at right here is poor Mimsy
Laying down.
laying down on her side. There is an EKG meter next to her left and an IV bag to her right.
Yeah.
So the song's playing, and all us kids will know this cute little cat and expect, the
This
little
cat's
cat to...
dying. Thank you, Mary
freaking
Tyler
dying.
Moore, you awful human.
Yes, it's dying.
This is like Flatliners.
So kids like me are like, oh my god, what the hell
Not
is
the
wrong with
remake.
Mimsy? But then,
Oh my God.
this is
The
how
cat
they
dies.
end it.
The cat dies,
The
everyone.
cat is freaking
This is the first
dead.
one that genuinely scares me because you guys just showed a cat die.
Yep.
Yes.
Faces of death.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right.
Oh my
right.
God.
So
Gore
I
gone.
remember seeing this and just staying frozen where I was sitting. I could
I'm
not
curious,
move.
how did you deal with that as a kid, being so familiar with Mimsy? Was like Mimsy like your friend at that
She
point?
became
Well,
like
she
part
was
of the
huge.
family.
Part of your
I mean,
family, right?
Yeah, and then
Then,
I heard somewhere that the reason why they did that was because Mimsy actually passed away in real life.
Oh my god.
That's even worse.
I don't know, I don't know if that's true or not.
If Mimsy did pass away in real life, how screwed
never
up
thought
is
we'd
it
say
to like
Mimsy so much.
fictionally kill Mimsy?
Yeah, here, hi, by the way. And to this day, I don't know who,
Oh
what,
my
when,
god.
where,
This is
how.
worse than when Selena passed away.
What would possibly possess them to do that?
Yeah,
I mean, for us, that's a freaking snuff film.
it
I'm like,
is.
Hey, we're gonna put her.
It's like Vacancy.
Yeah, we're gonna show you guys. that
8
she's
millimeter,
life
yeah.
support.
Yeah,
And,
oh my
when she
God.
passes away,
Hold
we're
on,
not even
hold
gonna turn the camera away. We're gonna show you full on horror. She.
I wonder
is-
if Mary Tyler Moore actually filmed her cat dying for that
No
part.
shit.
and I've
What
always
if she
wondered.
pulled the plug?
Yeah, she pulled the plug. She's like, check this out, America.
I have always wondered why they did that. I mean,
Honestly.
aside from
Because
the whole-
Mary Tyler Moore was obviously a horrible human being.
Oh my god! Like when I first saw that, it was so
It's probably jarring.
that
Yeah.
I quickly put that out of my system. Like I put that out of my head because that was weird. Going to bed with that first night was like, what the f?
Yeah.
And about a year ago,
Uh-huh.
I was talking to somebody about LOGOS, and he was like, "Oh my god, were you around when they killed off Mimsy? Son of a bitch!" Yes, I was. And we started talking about it. Well,
And
I
you went
looked
and rented the last Mimsy, and it wasn't the right one.
So I looked.
Yeah.
I looked to see if I could find somebody who actually put up the logo on.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of them on YouTube that have like the announcer
Oh
of
my-
whatever affiliate
Yeah.
was on telling, coming up next, blah blah blah. And while this guy's talking about, Sandra going out to meet her boyfriend on the next episode of 227, we're worried about, oh my god, is this cat gonna make it?
Yeah.
And
On the
The
next
answer is
episode,
no.
Mimsy's
Yeah.
gonna die
So when
because
I
Mary
found
Tyler was a
this one-
bitch.
this one that was completely no announcer and just the poor music and her beeping away like, oh my god, is she gonna make it?
Yeah, she didn't.
Yeah,
I
she
know,
doesn't.
she
I mean,
didn't.
You just want to burst into tears, and that was
They paid her less than everyone else.
All right, Mimsy got like scale +2.
And to this day, that's still one of the ones that still freaks me out. Like, even me being in my 40s, and I watch that, knowing she's not going to make it, it still freaks me out when it ends and the music just cuts off. Oh yeah, by the way, she's
By
gone.
the way, Mimsy's dead, and she didn't get cast in Halloween 6.
Right.
Sorry, guys, that's the best joke I come up with on the spot.
That's great.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
So, now that we have thought about Mimsy and we put her away and we
God
laid her
bless you,
rest,
Mimsy.
yes,
God bless you.
She's missed.
In peace.
Rest in pieces.
One of the bigger and up and comers back in the late 60s, early 70s was
Eric Roberts.
No. Was of course, Lucy and Desi's production.
Yeah,
company,
Desilu.
Desilu.
Yeah.
So, of course, everybody knows that, Desilu produced and distributed Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for Desilu, we would not have Star Trek.
Yeah.
I don't remember these logos in Star Trek. The very few times I actually saw it, because I wasn't really that big a fan. No offense to anybody. But
We're
theirs
gonna fight right
were her logo was a very 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
It was very
It was like, we're funny, we're getting divorced.
right.
1-2. All right.
So
Speaking of beating your wife.
the first one that they had was what I liked about theirs was that they were loud.
Yeah, they were.
They were. No, I'm talking about the logos.
Oh, sorry.
What William Frawley
Vivacious
said, you
red-
know.
Yeah.
Vivacious red hand and a Cuban loudmouth. Yeah, come on.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's gonna be.
That's true.
So when I first saw their logos, they're pretty loud. I mean,
Yeah.
they're loud, and both of them are pretty spooky. One more than the other. But the original one sounded
Talking about
like,
the logo again, right? Not them.
We're on the people.
That was
Okay,
so
see
short.
how it trails off.
Yeah.
This one was all right. And
Yeah.
then you have the variant, which was very. I can't even describe how bizarre this one is because
It's a theme song for Garbage Pail Kids the movie.
By
This-
working with each other.
this logo that I just played right now is a little cheery, a little
Okay.
vibrant. This
Sure.
one's a little darker. This is
It's like,
what the variant sounded like.
Divorce.
Right, this is what it sounded like.
What? It's like King Kong?
That's yeah.
What?
That one was a little bit more dark.
It's more like Desi than Lou.
You know what? That's a good. That's something to think about. You never
Yeah.
knew. This one was probably Desi's version,
Yeah.
and the other one was probably Lucy's version. That you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
See, what my jokes
A
pay off
joke
sometimes,
even
guys.
exactly-
Sometimes.
And Lucy was a kook.
She was.
She was insane.
She wasn't even a redhead.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I mean, hey, God rest her soul.
So
She's
we're
still
saying-
a legend.
Yup.
Well,
She's
yeah,
a
she's
legend,
great.
I love Lucy, but she was a nut at the end. She thought she could hear Japanese, communications in her teeth. She was
I think I can hear Japanese every time I go eat sushi, but I'm
I
just
think
too
I'm
dumb to like
turning Japanese.
pay attention.
I think I'm turning Japanese. I really think
Well, we
so.
all know
Oh
what
my
that
God.
really means, so we won't go there.
Yeah. That'll be the special episode.
Right. So, when we were all kids, I'm pretty sure that all of us at one point or another watched, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. No, not porn.
Dude, Frosty the Snowman.
36, I still do.
Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, those old like claymation
They
ones.
come out every year. They're
Yeah,
still-
I
they're
love
still-
those.
They're still broadcast tradition.
Yeah,
Once a
they're
week.
wonderful.
I want to be a dentist.
Right?
And those were produced and distributed by Rankin Bass.
Yeah.
And, of course, was really known for that type of program. And they had a logo that was very, very... It tried to be a little cheery, but still scared a lot of us. Like me, it doesn't really scare me now, but back then it did. And it went something like this. So what I'm going to do now, because we're kind of running short on time, is, because we still have a lot to talk about, is I'm going to play some of the ones that universally are renowned for being scary or whatever, because I want to get to the top 6 that scared the holy crap out of me.
Let's do it. I'm excited.
So the so the next one I'm going to play, and a lot of people know this one because of the voice,
Yeah.
is for Filmways, and this
Okay.
played more properly. Even now, I see it on MeTV when they rerun Green Acres reruns, because Ava Gabor did a variant of the Filmways logo and provided the voice, and this is how we all know it.
This has been a Filmways presentation, darling.
Love it.
Wow.
That's the more, and that was a little bit scary because
How is
when
scary?
the show
It's a woman that can
ends,
barely speak English. That's not
it's-
scary. It's just weird.
it stops and her voice comes right out.
Okay.
But the regular one, that one's a little bit scary because it's a guy's deep voice, and
This has been an
Filmways television presentation.
now that one scared the shit out of me because
What?
when
This is crazy.
whenever a
Interesting.
closing song
Interesting, yeah.
stops, I mean it stops
It's like
abruptly,
dun
and
dun
this
dun
voice
dun dun
just-
dun. This has been an Airways production.
Did you just do the Dukes of Hazzard?
That's the best I could do. I
Oh my
don't know.
God.
I thought you were doing
You just scored
Sanford and
Sanford.
Son.
Son is what I thought.
Me
And
too.
besides, I don't know Filmways is that. I know Filmways from Beverly Hillbillies, and this has been a Filmways.
Yeah,
right?
Ellie
Oh,
Mae.
Donald
Yeah.
Douglas,
Oh, Don Douglas, yeah. See that, and now Filmways had their variants,
Yeah.
but the
They're like comic
the
books.
one that I've read is the most famous one's the one with.
Showed how much of a nerd I am.
Like comic books.
Then there
32
was-
different kinds of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then there was NBC Television.
Okay.
This one still scares me in the middle of the night. Like if I wake up at.
I want to break in your house and play the NBC commercial for you right
No,
now.
wait till you hear the one that
All right,
really does.
Let's do it.
So this one played always after the Jeffersons.
Yeah.
227. I just had it. Where is it? Right here.
I'm so fascinated how these scared you.
Well, I'm telling you, in the dark, and
Yeah.
and the fact that they assault you and then they leave. It's like a hit and run for your ears. That's pretty much probably what it is.
Assault you. That synthesizer assaulted you?
Yeah. I was
Aw.
easily spooked as a kid. And thankfully, I'm not the only one that feels
Yeah.
weird. There's plenty
No.
of people
There's a lot of people. I'm the weird one.
Now,
All
in
right.
the 80s,
Let's do it.
this one, I was surprised to read. I always thought this one was kind of bizarre and
All right.
loud and infiltrating, but
It's a theme song for Ghostbusters too.
no. Hey, it isn't Bobby Brown. Leave Bobby alone.
Yeah.
It's up to us. We have
Crack
to
is whack.
control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this one, I mean, granted,
That's
you
not
were
legal.
spooked at first, but something good always followed this one, especially because they always played this particular introduction. This one was actually an intro, not an outro. Every time you played this, there was always Charlie Brown.
Okay.
There was always Garfield. There was always some kind of special for kids after this.
That is overwhelming in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's so much going on in that. Like, I have a panic attack just hearing that.
And that was more late 70s, early 80s. Any kid from the 80s will tell you, oh my god, I hated that song.
Was that before Bon Voyage? Or is that before its
Anything that
time?
came on CBS.
They
Yeah.
kind of, like you said, there was so much going on so quick. They kind of, like Leonel was saying, they kind of assault you. They kind of corner you. So
I
to
feel like
speak.
you'd be sitting in front of the
Yeah.
television waiting for Charlie Brown, and then out of nowhere that would come on, and you would just like shit your pants.
Right, because you're waiting.
And
to
you would
see
miss
it.
the whole first 10 minutes of Charlie Brown because you have to change your poopy diaper.
And this one was unique for that reason. It was just so
Yeah.
loud, boom, slap you, hey, you're falling asleep, but hey, wake up because we got
They
something
slap
going
you, wake up, and there's a talking dog there.
on. Ooh, what does it count?
Oh,
That's a
sorry.
different logo.
Wait, yeah, Snoopy doesn't talk. He just makes noises. Okay, you go for
So
it.
then we have one of Matt's favorites. This one played a lot after Taxi.
Oy.
Oh, Taxi,
Yeah,
yeah.
John Charles Waters Productions. It was
Okay.
quick, but
It's like,
I
By
would-
favorites, he means that it creeped me out for some reason.
what? That dude was totally having an orgasm. Not Mr. Walters. What is going on?
the
I sound like John Larroquette.
what it shows is that this man is walking out of his office after a long day. He's putting
Oh,
on his
okay,
hat,
yeah.
and his secretary is like, "Good night, Mr. Walters," and he's fed
He's
up.
an
ready to
old
go home,
codger.
So he's all,
Yeah.
Sorry, I included the.
I had to
the whole-
prosecute an innocent man today.
accidentally included the Paramount closing logo, which
Okay.
everybody knows.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one we're gonna do is we're gonna do Ubu only because
Oh, hell yes.
for nostalgic value.
Oh, this is
because
my
was
jam.
actually good.
This one, Jeff.
Oh my god, I can hear that repeat. I want to hear like Drake remix that.
Right.
Sit, Ubu,
Like a
sit.
whole-
Girl.
Good dog.
A whole song just with that sample back and
Oh
forth.
my god. Warren G, where are you?
No, that's what I'm saying.
The way
Fuck
music is
regulate.
nowadays, it would probably become a top 10 hit.
It
Why
would.
lie?
It would.
Why lie?
Bieber?
So
Oh my
back
That
to
guy needs to die.
Yeah.
what Matt was talking about Sesame Street and PBS earlier.
Yes.
The one we're about to play now, sometimes we'll play after Sesame Street, but I remember this one coming out after Mr. Rogers.
Wow.
'Cause I don't know if you guys remember in the older episodes that were still black and white, when the camera would hover over the make-believe city where
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Rogers lived. Well, it would always, toward the end, always close up on this one particular high-rise building, and it would show like the credits, and the announcer would say, "Hey, this has been Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood,
Which has been fake.
brought to you by Children's Television Network," whatever.
Yeah.
It was the building at the very top said NET, and NET was one of the. It was kind of like a public television. affiliate type of thing.
Pre-PBS. And also spelled net.
NET, yes, exactly. Now this one was kind of spooky because of the music and the ominous.
Sandra
voice,
Bullock had a part in that.
Right, the ominous announcer's voice. This is one of those ones that stayed in your head after it was done.
I'm ready.
This is NET, the Public Television Network.
Okay, I feel like that would have been like part of the score for Burnt Offerings.
What I thought when that would come on is
Yeah.
it's the end of the world.
And
Right?
Here comes the bomb.
Yes.
Yeah.
like-
Here comes the bomb or Oliver Reed trying to drown his son in a pool.
That for me was time to sing. What's that?
Jesus came and I got left behind.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh my
that was
God.
always very, very
Spring Up, Oh
spooky,
Well.
ominous.
Yeah.
So after that one, we got okay. So here after this, I'm gonna go into my top 6.
Here we go.
These are the top 6
Get ready, guys.
that spooked the hell out of me. And to this day still do. Some of the other ones I can listen to and I'm okay. These I still have a problem listening to, especially in the middle of the night because these.
Oh, I'm ready
will
to watch like
stay
panic attacks
with-
right here. Let's do this.
Number 6, I got Screen Gems. This is what we know as the S of Death. Now,
The
let me say
S of
really quick-
Death.
Yes. So
That's
this
what I
one-
called one of the my first girlfriends.
The S of
Yes,
Death.
that's the V of
That's
doom.
what I called one of his first boyfriends.
Oh.
Oh my god. So the S of Death
Okay.
is so remembered. I don't know if you know this or I don't know if I've shown you.
Mm-hmm.
This actually has its own documentary.
Whoa.
Yes, look it up on YouTube.
What's it called?
I can't
S of
remember what
Death?
it's called. I should have looked this in before. But this one actually has its own documentary,
Mhm.
and it's pretty simple, but it's really loud. It's in your face, and all it is a yellow screen with two
It's just I'm broken by
two
Pantera.
trapezoids coming together to form a letter S and a big dots in the middle. That's all it is.
Oh wow. Let's
But
hear
this
it.
actually scared
This
a
is number
generation enough
6?
to
It's
warrant
number
its
6,
own-
right?
This is number 6. This is
I'm so excited.
Screen Gems TV.
Let's do it.
That sounds like I just won like a sword on Zelda.
Yeah, like Link will come out and be like, I don't know why you're scared, bro, but it's cool. Here's a
This
sword.
is an ocarina.
Now,
Yeah,
I have
of
not
time.
been able to see this documentary yet. I know it's there. Someone watched it. I just haven't watched it.
Yeah.
Should have, but this was one of the ones that a lot of people say is their number 1.
Number 5 or number 6?
No, their number 1.
Our number 5.
Mine
What's
is
the
number
one we
6.
just heard?
This is my number 6.
Okay.
But a lot of people, it's their number 1.
Wow.
And it's fascinating to talk about, oh my God, the S of Death was, I would cry afterwards. I would go to the corner.
What?
And and I don't see it as that bad. But like I said, everybody has their own. And I think a lot of people who are into these will find out when I reach my number 1, they'll probably laugh at me and say, really, dude, that's your number 1.
Mine are usually just like SWV singles.
Hey,
Remember them?
hey, Right Here Waiting is one of my jams, so I'm not even going to go there.
Poor sisters with voices. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. So my number 5,
Say sweaty wet vaginas.
yes, thank you. My number 5 is the Mark 7 Limited. This one has a lot of variants. They all have the same logo. Everybody knows this one, especially modern day kids. They know this as the Mark Street
Okay.
logo. I want to say this is for a Robot Chicken. The reason why this scared a lot of people, besides the music, is that
Seth
there's a
Green?
piece of granite, and you hear this timpani rolling in the background, and all you see is from an overhead view, these two hands pop out with a hammer,
Mm-hmm.
a mallet, and what are those things called? A
Oh, I
stamp.
remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So you saw the hand hit the stamp once,
Mhm.
come up toward you,
Yeah.
hit the stamp again, and then he released it. But all from a first-person point of view. I guess that's probably why it's a little spooky. But the sound speaks for itself.
Let's
I'm
do
gonna
it.
play it here.
I feel like this would have been at the end of Cobra.
And that whole timpani just, rolling
roll.
and drum rolling and up into and leaving you there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're waiting to get shot. At the,
You're ready to get shot, or
Yeah,
you're in
like
one of those
blindfolded,
factories in
yeah.
Cobra,
Yes, that's
Terminator
good,
2,
yes,
where nobody
yes.
seems to be working.
Ever.
No one seems to be.
Like, they have no employees
They
whatsoever.
work in Terminator 2 because they all run away.
Do they?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's the first one where there's nobody working.
Yeah.
So my number 4 is the Paramount closing logo,
Okay.
which is known in our circles as the Closet Killer.
Yeah.
Very quick, to the point. Seriously, you go to your closet, something jumps out, stabs you, goes back into the closet. That's what it is.
I thought it was a reference for a gay serial killer.
No, not
Right? And Killers
So this
is.
is what this one sounds
Stuck
like.
in the closet. Holy shit. Yeah, that is kind of weird.
And that's another one of those that just
What's
comes
that
out of
Christmas
nowhere.
movie we watched at VHS in our club a year or two ago?
Which one? Don't Open Till Christmas? The one
Yeah,
with
Don't
Santa
Open Till
Claus?
Christmas. I feel like that would have been in Don't Open Till Christmas.
Oh my god, that would have been perfect.
Yeah, such a good movie.
Now, this one, a lot of people have this as their like number 1 and number 2. This one scares a lot of people because of how
Such a good movie, not.
because of how intense it is.
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Now, just a couple of days ago, this is no lie, I found a variant that I'd never heard before.
Oh, wow.
Now, the more I'm listening to it and the more I have listened to it, it's slowly creeping up to my top 3 because it's so out there. I can only imagine what it'd been like to have been seated in front of the TV and have this one pop out. This one's kind of spooky, so
Let's
here
do
we
it.
go.
I feel like that would have been like the villain's theme song for the Incredible Hulk series.
No shit.
That one's much worse.
Yeah,
That was a
that's
lot
the
worse.
that's the
That
first one you've
first-
played this whole episode that I've been like, okay, that's really unsettling.
When I saw that, I was like, ooh, Closet Killer variant. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I've probably heard it before. I swear to you, when I first played it and I heard those horns at the beginning,
Yeah.
I swear to God, dude, my heart went up to my throat.
Yeah.
Like, had I been around when this first would have come out, this would have been easily my number one.
Yeah.
Easily, because that was really spooky
Yeah.
and really unsettling. And from what I've read about it, because I did some research on it, that one didn't appear very much. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe it didn't come out very much because maybe people, were writing in or calling, I shouldn't say call, but writing in saying, hey, this one's a little spooky. Can you
Yeah.
not play it again? But that's probably one of my, well, it is one of my top 6, but I'm thinking by the time I would ever do the show again, it'll probably be my number 2 because nothing's gonna be my number 1.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that in a second.
All right.
So number 3
Number
is
3.
one that Matt already played.
Jaws
but
3.
It's okay. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it again because it's that spooky.
Let's go for it. I feel like this is the song that plays when aliens probe your butt.
That's a theme song.
I don't know. This
Fire
one
in the
does-
How they
sky.
get
When
you.
they turn
Oh.
on the alien butt probe
You're like,
machine.
oh
That movie's
no,
so
I'm getting probed in a second.
I don't know, but that one,
Unwillingly.
like that one, is one of those few that I cannot play if I'm by myself in the middle of the night because that little tune will haunt the shit out of me. It will stay.
That scares you more than like any Eli Roth movie?
Not because
Ooh,
they're
I could
scary,
throw
because
some-
they're awful.
No, I could throw some really good shade right here, but I'm not saying that.
I am.
I
Make a
mean,
good fucking movie already.
I would be like,
Have you seen?
I would if I watched more. of
Okay,
his movies.
very short, off topic. Did you see the trailer for the new Death Wish remake?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god. That's all. Okay, anyways, let's go.
If I ever meet him, I'm going to give him an award for consistency. But we'll get on
Consistency of awfulness.
Yes.
Go for it.
So that was my number 3. My number 2 is one that I can agree. Most of us can agree.
Yeah.
Is one of the most spookiest ones ever.
Let's do
And a
it.
lot of people have this
So
as the number
excited.
1 also. This is Viacom, but there was 2.
Ooh.
Early 70s, mid 70s, late 70s.
V-Town.
There was one where it was just colored, like colored screens.
Yeah.
Like a screen having like multiple colors, and then the word a Viacom presentation with.
No, I remember that, yeah.
Well, that is called the pinball variant because
Okay.
it sounds like pinball machines.
That does sound pinball.
At least it actually sounds like pinball compared to soda pop, which sounded nothing like.
Yeah,
Soda Pop just sound
I
like
didn't give it the
shit.
title, I just read
No,
it.
I know. I'm not saying you. I'm just never good with that.
So, but here is the one that every 80s kid remembers. And this is one that several times I would actually have to hold my ears shut because this one did a lot for me and still does. This one is one of those ones that I also cannot hear in the dark. But this is known as the V of Doom. And I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, the V of Doom, yes.
Now, this is your number what? Well, the thing about that one is it doesn't sound so scary to me, but it sounds kind of like slightly off key, which makes it a little bit unsettling.
Very unsettling. 5 simple little notes. A timpani that stays rolling after the screen goes dark. I think that's
Yeah.
probably what does it for me. Is that the music's still playing while the V comes right at you and makes the screen go black.
Yeah.
So that's my number 2. My number 1. Okay, so here we go. My number 1. And I associate this logo with The Muppet Show.
What?
This
your number
was-
one's a Muppet one?
Yes. This one is not an outro, more say an intro.
That's not that bad. Well, it's not that good either.
Oh my god, I hated hearing this one. I've
Okay.
said this to Matt many times. I don't like when this one plays because this one gets stuck in my head. And it's very, very simple. It's very, very short. But
I'm
every time
so excited for this one.
the Muppet Show would start,
It's your number one.
yes, this is my number 1 scary one. Oh my goodness. It is ITC.
Listeners, I'm gonna record this and play it during his, like while he's sleeping. I'm gonna break into his house
if
and
you
do
were
that.
to do that, I mean, why lie? Like, if you were to send me a text at 2 o'clock in the morning,
I've done that before.
So gonna
is
do this
actually-
right
I'm being
now.
serious. If
I've
you were
done
to
it
send this
before.
to me at 2 o'clock in the morning, I would turn over, the house is dark, and I would play this, like you send it to me as like a
Yes.
voice note, and this were to come out, I would probably I would probably freak the fuck out.
I'm gonna do it so
Yeah.
hard. Go
So
ahead.
this is ITC.
All right. What?
Always came on before the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
So every time I watch the Muppet Show, I get a little antsy in my pantsy
Antsy in my pantsy.
because I know this is coming.
Yeah.
And you know what? I haven't seen the DVD sets
Yeah.
to see if maybe this comes out before.
I'm trying to think because I think I have the first season. I'll have to check.
Check that for me because that's.
I will, and I'll send
would
it your
love to
way,
get-
and I'll
I mean,
say
not
it.
for
No, it's not
anything.
on there, even if it will be.
I kind of would like this one like as a ringtone. I mean, just for me because I do like it, even though it scares the holy hell out of me.
You'll be at work, and the ringtone will come off, and you'll
Yes.
just like start flipping your shit.
Exactly, exactly. So decades later, I mean, like, there's
Yeah.
a whole generation of people like me who still find these really, really unsettling.
This is so
And
fascinating. Oh my god.
What I love about it is
Yeah.
that we associate like all these sounds and all these little jingles and whatever to our youth.
Yeah.
Like you don't see any of that now. I mean, you don't see companies doing that. I mean, you got
Not at
Not
all.
to that degree.
Not to that degree, exactly.
Not at all.
And
Not like that.
Like I can't recall a single recent like current one that off the top of my head.
Because they don't air them.
Yeah.
TV shows are so competitive.
And they almost fast forward the credits just to
Yeah.
get through
Yes.
them. Yeah.
Yes.
They don't even have theme songs anymore. It's
Like
like
the last time I saw Con Air, they just fast forward the whole credits.
and what's funny is
it's all
that,
the corner of the screen. All
Yeah, it's like
like I said before, I never ever mentioned this to anybody because
Yeah.
it's something that was so bizarre and so
It's
out there. that I just,
interesting,
you know what?
though. It's
I'm gonna
so
keep this to
interesting.
myself because it's so weird.
no,
If
I
I
don't.
told
I
this
don't
to
think it's
somebody-
weird. I think it's interesting.
Well, now, I mean, but like if I would have said this to somebody like in 1993,
Maybe in
it would've
'93
been-
I would have made fun of you
yeah, exactly.
because I
And
was
it's
so
like,
into listening to
this is
Cypress
such-
Hill. I was on
this
my
is
own
such a
ass.
thing that I kept to myself. That I'm like, okay, nobody's gonna understand this.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna even try to say, hey, you know what? I don't know what you're talking about, but let me try to get me to understand
This
what you're
is
saying.
so
Right
awesome.
away,
Yeah,
you'll
no,
probably tell me,
totally.
dude, you're a freaking whack job.
No.
You know.
Listening to this over the last hour or so, like
I think this is the most interesting episode that we've done so far, just because like I've been listening to you talk about like it's almost like a catharsis for you. You could
A
tell,
little bit.
and it's interesting. It's interesting to hear all these things and be like, "What? You're scared by that?" Like it's cool. It's really awesome.
Yeah, and it's also fact that back then it still does now to some extent. It does.
Yeah, like if you put like a plate full of ribs in front of me, I'll cry because I'm afraid of them. Like any meat with bones in it,
Are you serious?
that's my biggest phobia.
Wow.
really? So
I
you can't eat
cannot-
chicken with the
I cannot
bone.
eat meat with bones in it.
Oh,
Is
wow.
It's
that because of the hitcher and the French fry?
I have no idea. I love the hitcher,
The
but
French fry part with the
oh
finger,
my
that's why
God,
they use that
yeah.
way.
no, for some reason, since I was a kid, I cannot eat meat with bones in it. I'm
Huh.
you with
That's how anti-
you with like logos and TV shows is like me with bones and meat.
I'll say
That's
I don't feel so
interesting.
bad. But
Yeah,
I did.
I
I
don't.
never said this to anybody, and it was so weird how
Yeah.
when I met Matthew, we.
That's
I'm
such an
not sure-
interesting thing to like be like, oh, you're
freaked out by that
and I
stuff
can't even
too.
It's so
remember
interesting,
How,
yeah.
how the topic came up.
yeah.
And, we were talking about.
He's like,
things
oh, do you want the
scary.
sweet onion chicken teriyaki sandwich?
Well, we were
Obviously
sitting
you
at
do,
supper,
'cause it's
and
the
he was
best.
showing me, we were talking about kids shows that freaked us out.
Yeah,
So
Small
I was
Wonder.
telling him, huh?
Small Wonder.
But in a different
Oh, in a
way.
different
I
way.
love Vicky.
Yeah, I was talking about stuff like the New Zoo Review.
Yeah,
Shit that spooked me as a kid.
Carmen
San
Sandiego.
Muffin stuff.
Yes.
Do it,
not Carmen
Rockapella.
Sandiego.
HR puffin stuff.
But stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. So as he was
Captain
showing
Kangaroo.
me videos, I was kind of like talking about stuff. He's like, the weirdest things creep me out as a kid, and blah blah this and blah blah that. So I was like, what scared me as a kid? I said,
Yeah.
well, they would have these things at the end of TV shows in the early '80s, and without me even saying anything else, he interjected and said, "Are you talking about Nightmare Logos? Holy
Yeah.
fuck!" I was like, "Wow!" Somebody
Okay.
not only knows
Was there one called Dick?
Deke.
Oh, D.
Clark.
Sorry, sorry guys.
Clark, yeah.
That's how immature I am.
But it was the shape of a penis.
Right?
Yeah, if you looked at the original Deke logo,
Exactly.
it was a dildo. It was
D-
the D with the stick in the middle.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that's true.
But it was so
Not
bizarre.
safe for work episode.
Dick Clark knew what he was doing
Right. It was part of his pact with Satan for keeping young.
for his 700
Yeah,
years of
right?
being young.
But it was so weird to not only have
Phantom of the
somebody
Paradise.
know exactly what I was talking about, but
Yeah.
hear the proper title or the proper word for it now.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, Nightmare Logos." I mean, I was like blown away.
Yeah.
So
So
I-
you got that sweet onion chicken teriyaki sandwich.
Well,
You got the
actually,
you got the
no.
you got the 12-inch.
They ran out of meatball. No, we
And then I
wish.
had a sandwich too.
They-
So it was
Subway
really cool.
feast.
It was really cool to find somebody who actually knew what the hell these were. So I started researching online, and if you guys don't know this, there are actually people that have put together fan pages. The closing logo Wikipedia page. Well, not Wikipedia. page, but it's
Really?
called The closing logo wiki, and there's people that have closing logos page, and you can read these people that have gotten all these together, and not only the Desilu logo, but all 50 variants.
And they
of the
made
Disney logo.
these people wrote all these pages about their fear for those.
Yes.
And were they people not named Lionel and Matt?
No, I wish, because that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because these guys have like 50 variants.
That is
of
so
each one.
cool.
Chronologically, hey, when Viacom first started doing it in 1961, this is what the Viacom logo was
Wow.
at. And how it progressed through the years, through the late 60s, the early 70s, and how it changed. And they have this for every single
See, I'm the same way
logo.
with just like full moon movies.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Puppet Masters and Trancers and stuff. I'll go off. But these people like actually have a life talking about logos.
And it's cool because sometimes some of these guys will put, let's do Charles Waters production.
Yeah.
And they'll rate them. And they'll say, okay, be careful. This has a high nightmare rating.
Really?
Yes.
They
And
rate
There
them
are
too.
paramedics on
Yes.
site.
They have, and what's cool is like,
In case you have a stroke
when I start
listening to
looking
like
through
Viacom before you
I
even
can
take
see,
it off.
okay, this has a low nightmare. It's called a low nightmare score. So you
Wow.
look at it and it's really tame and whatever, and then you get to stuff like Via Doom that's really loud, really obnoxious, really in your face.
Oh
and
my
it says
god,
that,
it's like
you
a
know,
high nightmare and you need Dolph
I think
Lundgren to
that's
help
so
you.
Cool. And they have them all sorted out by year, by distributor. And
That's so cool.
It's so fascinating.
It's
If you guys
unique.
get a chance, those of you listening, look these up. Just Google closing logo wiki, and there's tons and tons and tons. Some of these I don't even know about that I don't even remember.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see how people like us who hold these so near and dear, not only do they still remember them and want other people to remember them, but they put them together so you can go to one
Well, it's
place and look
awesome.
them up.
I mean, after this episode, I'm actually going to my nearest tattoo parlor to get a Sit Ubu Sit back piece tattooed on me.
If you do
You
that,
get a tramp stamp of
if you do that, I will
Sit
get
Ubu Sit.
I will get an ITC logo on my spine.
Okay,
That's
it's
the
a deal. It's a deal.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this show. This one was really fun for me to do, and I'm really glad that you guys were able to sit and enjoy and learn something new,
Sit,
probably.
guys.
So if you guys want to
Good
talk
boy.
more, my email address is lionelvhs17@gmail.com. I'm really, really happy you guys got to join us. So until next time.